Okay, guys, Sam back here with you on Thursday, August 30th here, and wrapping up here a traditional Thursday. So as I will often mention, we poll our members, let them choose what gets analysis. And second up here, we have the pound to the dollar. Now, I tell you this all the time whenever we're looking at FX, that you really want to think about longer term trading. So I have a 3-day chart up here. Now, I know that's, we're also, it's very easy to get caught up in the rush of, immediate profit. You've got to trade and you get a little profit, and you just, the temptation to want to take it and book it and realize that profit is overwhelming. I completely understand. Like, I've been doing this for 20 plus years. There are no emotions I haven't felt, no mistakes I haven't made. There is very little that I haven't experienced. But what I can tell you from those 25 years of doing this is that if you're looking at foreign exchange, you really want to think long term. So let me just show you this here. So this is 3-day. Now, I know this is a time frame here that's very difficult for people to realize, but I had a member ask me yesterday, saying that in the last year, where have your most significant profits been? And I said, without hesitation, it's been in Forex. So let me show you why here and just make a few points here. So we're coming off of this line, I'm all the way back here to 02, right? So we get a clean Elliott count here, and you think, God, man, 3-day chart? Is that going to be technical? Well, even if I just use this as my 2 to my 3 here, what do? Right? 3-day chart, we go right to the golden zone, boom, right to target. Right? And they get through target, plenty of cushion here. So they get through that. So we've got a very technical pivot here. Now, a couple of things I did notice here as well. So this, interesting, being a significant pivot, I just wick this off here and note how this comes back. So prior support becomes the resistance. Resistance, they get through it a hair, but becomes the resistance. Now you look at that and you think, all right, so before I draw this, does anyone want to guess, just looking at that right there, right? So just looking at this, does anyone want to guess what happened right there? Right before I draw, I always forget, I got to double click down there. Before I draw that up, anyone, see that's the algo footprint that you're looking for. So this is just a great example of it. So that's exactly what it looks like. So, I'm always putting the fib on it, but if you just broke it down and said, well, what does it look like? That's the footprint right there. Whether we're looking at a 1-minute chart or a 3-day chart, that is the algo footprint we're looking for. So let's now draw it up as we would. So from this swing to my swing low here. So you can see right here. So we get, let me pull this off so you can see it. So we get a front run on the 50 here. So when you look at it and you go, I wonder why did it break there? Because it was to the tick resistance right here. Well, we get a little bit through it. You know why? That's an algo looking for its fill. All right, so we're coming up here, we get the fill. Where do we go? Right, so it's to the tick, right? That's the pattern. That's the footprint. Right? Again, doesn't matter what time frame we're looking at. That is what the footprint looks like. Right? That's it. Right? It's what again, the time frame doesn't matter. Right? That's the footprint we're looking for. That's the one algorithm that I know of that we can track because it leaves that footprint regardless of what time frame, what asset, doesn't matter. That's the algo footprint. That's what it looks like, right? So if I pull this off, you go, oh, holy shit. So I say this here. So that pivot here is in July of 2014. That doesn't realize its target until October of 2016, right? That's a long wait, right? But see, that's why they use these algorithms here, because what trader could sit quietly for 2 years and just let that realized target, right? That would be so hard to sit through, right? And of course, you can look in here. You got it again right here. All right, so you see it again. So here, I'll draw it to you again. So from the pivot here, so we get the first retracement goes right to the 50. Boom, there's the footprint again. You see it? So it was that's the footprint you're looking for. Swing to the 50 to the target reaction. Right. So, I realize, so even that's June of 15 doesn't realize target until March of 16. Right. It doesn't look like it's long here, but that's a 3-day chart. Right. Could you sit through that? Right? If you want to trade FX, that's what you got to do. Right? So that's the point of me starting here on these longer term time frames, because the count can be, so what's the count in here? Right? That's anyone's guess. 10 Elliotticians will give you 10 different counts there. But the footprint, unmistakable. Right? So just that's what we're looking for. I thought it might help to make it more visual than that. So target realized. Well, what's happened next? Well, of course, what's the first thing we're going to do? Start looking for that footprint again. Well, what have we just done? Do you see it? Right? Swing high, swing low, right to the 50. Well, where's the target? Right down here. So we're going to get it again. So do we get the footprint again? Right here. Can't be any. Well, I took it off too fast. Let me get it for you again. So here's the front run on the 50. Here's the realized target to the tick. Right? So here's the footprint. They double topped it, right? There's our footprint right there. That's it, right? It seems so simple, doesn't it? You think, God, it can't be that simple. Can it? I bet I've shown that, I don't know, I'm close to 600 videos. I bet I've shown that over 1,000 times. Right? I mean, it's, how simple is that? Right? And the best trade's always at the 50, right? If you can get it at the 50, right? So remember, in this case, they start selling here. They'll defend it all the way up to the 65, right? But here's the best trade. If you can get it at the 50, that has the higher percentage of reaching target, right? So there's your footprint, right? It's just simple. It's so simple. That's the thing. People think, can't be that simple. Can it? Let's go down to a smaller time frame, see what it looks like. All right, so look, we're going to come off the 3-day here. So whether this is A, B, C, we're working off of a swing low. So, of course, the first thing you do is draw from swing low to what we did just there. What did we do? It's right to the golden zone, right? So do you think algos are in FX? Right? I mean, that's what dominates FX. It's the algorithms, right? So right to the golden zone. So we have now, do you see what's happening here? So we have a little fib fight. Right, so we've got the algos that sold here against the algos that bought at the golden zone. Look where their target is. They've got this target from golden zone. Should that hold, their target is right here at the next 618. So then if they get through that, they get to target. Now we got a true fib fight, golden zone to golden zone. Right, that wouldn't surprise me at all. Right, so then that target. So there's the footprint. Let's see if I can show it to you this way. So here's the footprint. Let me take this off. Coming back the other way. All right, now we don't know that we get there, but come here. Here it is coming back the other way. Just the simple algo footprint right there. Right? So do we get that? Well, if it comes back there and we pivot there, right? So that's a target realized. So then the sell becomes, you've got the double bonus here. You've got the 618 here in conjunction with the target on this side. Do you see that? So there's a so I just told you that the better sell is at the 50. That's true. But if you get the combination of an algo target at the 618 at the point of control, right back into prior. So again, you could do it this way. You could think of it this way. You don't want to get into the Elliott Wave. Okay, fine. So here's just this little box of prior support, resistance. Now, it doesn't mean that if you get there that it must do this. But you trade them until they fail. So this would be realized. This would be unrealized. You see that? So and in some ways you're kind of getting the swing structure of an Elliott count. Could that be A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Maybe. Right? You'd have to measure, right? So your extension would be here in what could be the one wave. We'd have some sort of complex correction here. So A, B, C, it could be doesn't matter, right? So this really is what matters here in terms of trying to get what's going to be realized first. What did they do last? Sorry. What did they do last? Right? Where's the next target? Is there anything at that target that's of interest? Any confluence that I can look for? So it might be something as simple as this, right? Just maybe we'll put a little median line on that. Maybe it's the first pivot. Maybe it's the second one. You don't know till you get there. Maybe it doesn't get there. Maybe it runs into the resistance again at the 50, and we end up doing it again. Right? So come back. So we could golden zone hits the So here you have confluence again. So you have the median line. All right, so here already, oh, God darn it, I'm so sorry. So here we have a golden corner pocket potentially underway. Now let me pull this off here so you can see it. Right, so this is potentially now a golden corner pocket. Do you see that? That's all we have there. So if, big emphasis, if that holds, 80% probability of making the target. Or making the median line, let me say it that way. So the algo target is up here at the 618, so maybe it takes its time. What is that timeline? That's October of 2019. Can you stay long that long? For that amount of time, can you stay long and not just go, oh, I'm taking profit, right? I want to move the fund somewhere else. Right? That trade right there can make your year. All right. So what if we're in the golden zone here at 126, target up here at 149? Right. That's a 3-day chart. That's a pretty big move. Right. So that trade right there, and it's not going to go straight. Right. There's going to be opportunity to add along the way. But if that pivot holds, 80% probability of making that target. We know this was a perfectly technical pivot. Up we go. Golden zone, golden corner pocket sitting there. Right, very low risk. You can buy it now. Stop under the 65. 80% odds. If you're stopped out, well, then we're wrong, right? The trade is wrong, right? So it's invalidated, right? But that, if you're looking for guaranteed trades, good luck with that. Right? So all you've got here is probability here. So I've got a perfect algo play. I've got a perfectly technical pivot. We can probably get an Elliott count out of this as we go down to lower time frame. So potentially all you have sitting here is, if we're thinking with Elliott, 1, 2, where 3 would be up here, right? So you got that potential that you got to deal with. So if this is going to go 1, 2, and we're going to realize that probability that we're going to get our 80%, right? Could hit here, could hit. We don't know when it hits. It's not 80% of hitting it at the target. It's 80% of hitting the median line. Could hit it right there. Right now we got some time to get through. So that's the thing. That's why I like pitchforks so much. And I mentioned this yesterday. These are leading indicators. Right, that's a leading indicator. So stop sitting underneath the 65. You're stopped out. Well, the trade's wrong. Next trade. If it goes and we pivot here, that doesn't mean that this count is invalidated. Right. So here's the 1, 2. We know that's going to be that's our shorthand for the 1, 6, and 1, 8. Here, I'll draw it for you. Look. So if I go here up to my 1 wave, that's my 2. Where's the 1, 6, 1, 8? Well, look at this cluster up here. Look at this. That's why you leave these on your chart. Right. Previously, look how support, resistance to the tick, got through it just so they could get that 50 and they get down to their target. Well, where's that coming in? Right there, here's my 1, 6, 1, 8 right there, right as we come up to the upper edge. So this could very easily just be going, so we could hit here, do this. Now you've realized your Elliott count, right? Could be, you don't know how it plays, could be, that would be ideal. Getting upper parallel back to the median line, push upper parallel. Wouldn't that be nice? You don't know when it gets there. You just know that you got 80% probability of getting there. Where else in trading do you get those odds? Exactly nowhere, right? That's why I make a point of always showing these to you when you have them. Right? Doesn't mean that that's a guaranteed winner. That's not what I'm saying. Don't misunderstand me. I'm saying there's a trade there. What's the risk reward on that? Right? So if let's say you bought it right here. Right? We're going for the target. You're out under the 65. 5.8 to 1. Nothing wrong with that. We get the Elliott count. 11.69 to 1. Right? I don't know how I can give it to you. I can't hand it to you any more cleanly than that. Right? Yeah, you got to take some risk. Is this a 1, 2? Well, we know we've got it. So this is a good example. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So here's the algo play. Algo play is dictating the swing. Is there an Elliott count that fits, that would make sense there? Well, if this algo is going to hold here, well, I've got a perfect setup for a 2. Now, am I going to get a 3? Well, we don't know that. We don't know. But no reason to assume that you wouldn't. Really, it's particularly considering this pivot went right to target. So we have a potential trend change here. Just that. It's just potential. Right? Where would I be out? Right? So I can be this is just the kind of trade I like. I am very clear because the first assumption is that trip into the golden zone is the pivot. So if we go back under that 65, I want to be out. I don't care that of course, I understand that it could go down to the 786 and still be a 2 from an Elliott perspective, but that's not helping. Now I'm not in sync with the algos. I want to be in sync with them. All right, I want to be right behind them. Right? If they're going to plow all the way through that, let me just tuck in behind them. And then I can extrapolate along the way. Here, I'm still on a 3-day chart. I can go down to the 3-hour chart and say, oh, but wow, okay, I got a motive wave here, so I got a good contender here for a 1 wave. Well, if I'm going to get a 2, so think about that. If you caught the turn here and you rode it up into a motive wave for the 1 of the 3, now that's the question you got to ask yourself. And we hit the median line. Well, you know the 2, the probability of that 2 is that it's at least going to the 50. So are you willing to give back 50% of your profit? You know, those are high-class problems, right? So are you willing to give that back, or do you take a partial here? Or do you just let it retrace because you're playing for the 3? Do you take profit here at the median line because we don't know that that's going to be a 3, and you just wait for the next 50? Now, if that's going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, now I'm back behind the algos again, just where I want to be. All right, let's go down to smaller time frame, see what that looks like. Let's go to a 3-hour, see if there's any. I got to pull this off here because this will screw us up. All right, so let's get all of this. All right, so as we change time frames, we got to clean up the chart. All right, so let's look here. So coming off of that low, here we're right into the golden zone as I've shown you. So let me just do it this way. Let's remove all drawing tools. Okay, so if that's coming down, we've got a decent pivot here. Well, digging into this, let's look at it. Right now, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you've got a candidate here for a 1 wave. I don't love this, but possibly. Let's get that so you can see it. Let's go down to submicro. So maybe that's not the cleanest, prettiest looking one. Even if I go down, let's see if I go to a 30-minute. If I got a decent 1 wave there, I've got a fairly good 3. Yeah, I guess I can get a diagonal out of that 1. A, B, C for my 2. All right, let's measure. Let's see if it's clean. All right, so from my swing 1, if that's a good 1 and that's my 2, well, that's an extreme, right? So here, so it could be this, right? So we could have 3. We'd have to allow for the shallow 4. Could be the 5 is in there. That's a candidate here. So we go just to the 2, 6, 1, 8. Yeah, it's not terrible, right? So that would mean if that were complete, then we'd have our 1 wave in. So this would be a completed 5-wave structure. So this would be our 2, and maybe the 3 is underway. We got placeholders over here. Let's go to white, and let's go up a degree or 2. We can go to subminuet. So would that make sense if I'm complete here? Just using the swing rate ratios here to help guide me into that. Looks like I'd have a diagonal into that 5th. So if that's 1, well, then from the swing low to the swing high, what do we do? Right, 50 to the tick. What did the algo do? Right, so we've already there, right? Already got target. Do you see that? So I don't know how much simpler I can make it, right? I know the Elliott, so a lot of you, the Elliott complicates, and you're like, I don't know these rules. What is it? Triple combo, double upside down, reverse inside out, combo, ZZ, double. Look, don't get hung up on that. Don't get overly hung up on it. I often will tell members, if it's not literally just staring you in the face, don't get so caught up that you can't get an Elliott count in that a 50 comes down and you can't pull the trigger. You can take your time learning the Elliott count. That takes time, right? But we can see this isn't rocket science here. Like all I did was just draw the fib relationships. Right, so here, this isn't that complicated. Here, A, B, C. What, right? That's not that hard. What do we know? We trend in 5s, we correct in 3s. That's the basic. If you knew nothing else about Elliott Wave, that's really all you need to know. Well, look here. It looks like I've got another 1, 2. So anyone want to guess whether or not that's technical? Just looking at it. So let's see if we can put it together. So could this be some sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Maybe, right? So now what would that mean? We'd have a diagonal, right? So now you're looking at that going, wait a minute. I don't know, what is a diagonal? Well, so if this were to play that way as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and for all I know, I have this wrong. So actually just looking at that, this looks more to me. Well, let's check a couple things. So you throw that up there and you're uncertain and you go, wait a minute. If that's a 1, 2, I need an impulse in my 3rd. So that can't work. Well, not so fast. Maybe that's just the one wave. If it's a diagonal, it can only be a one wave or an A wave. So maybe I've just got 1, 2, and this is just 1, 2 of the third wave. Well, now you start checking. Well, if that's a diagonal, I know there's likely to be a relationship between the start of the 1 and the pivot of the 3. What do? Golden zone. Do you see how technical that is? And now I'm down on the third. So we've gone from the 3-day to the 30-minute. Is anything different? Have I done anything different? Nothing. Nothing. Now, so again, remember, all I'm trying to do is use the Elliott structure, if there is one, and then it's clear and I can figure it out, can I tuck in behind can I use that to help me understand what the algos did last, and does that fit with the count? So you might look at this and go, that doesn't look right here. I don't like that extension in the fifth. Okay, maybe it's wrong. So don't necessarily trust just the first thing that you draw up just because it's the first thing you see. That's why I'm showing you these examples of going back and measure. Well, so if we go to the oscillator, we'll look at that. So that looks more like a third, right? That's the peak of the Elliott oscillator. So maybe I've got this wrong. Right, this sure looks to me more like that's the third up here. One of these is the 3. So maybe I've got it wrong. So maybe it's 1, 2. 4 is still yet to come. Maybe I've got it this way. So I can have a diagonal in the 1 wave of the third. Right, so 1, 2, I've got to get a completed motive wave, but I can have a diagonal in the 1 of that third. Right, now that's something you got to learn. Right? It's not rocket surgery, right? So here, 1, 2, does that work? Okay, well, let's think about it. So we know that was technical. We know that was technical. So virtually every pivot has been perfectly technical. Right? I mean, does this help? Right? So always things that we do, we wick off ones. Right? We always wick off the ones. They have a way of coming back into play. So look at that little confluence here, a couple of ones. Pair of ones, just holding right there. So 1, 2, well, if I get 3 pivots, I know that was technical, right? So I'm gonna at the very least do that. All right, so what do we have here? From swing low, swing high, right? So that is the quintessential corner pocket trade, right? You see that? So if this low holds, right? This is what I was just telling you. If this low holds, right? Now look how technical that is. If this low holds, 80% probability of making the median line. Right? Guys, I don't cherry pick these. The members are choosing these. Because it doesn't matter. I know no matter what we pull up, I'm going to see the same thing. Always, 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 always. Now, some counts more difficult than others. Crypto, not easy to count right now. But FX, it doesn't get any more technical. Someone asked me also, a same member just the other day, said, if I'm not going to pursue crypto right now because of the bear market or whatever reason, what asset class would you recommend next? Well, between what I just showed you with the Swiss and here in the pound, I hope that's an easy decision. I mean, FX is unbelievably technical. Right? These are the biggest markets on the planet, the most liquid, right, and incredibly algo-driven, right? How many more examples do I need to give you, right? And here, within all of this, so everything that I teach you is sitting right here, and I didn't look at this until this morning, right? So here, look, perfect. So we got an Elliott count, we've got an algo play, and we've got median lines to the tick, right? I don't know what else I can do, right, to show you how. I would propose to you that if you're not using this methodology in the market, I would encourage you to think about it. Think about it, right? So all I do in all of these videos, all I'm doing is just building a case, right? It's just a case, right? It's like it's going into court. Can we prove the case? Right? Now, is it right all the time? Of course not. Of course not. But how many of these do you need? Right? So if you're disciplined about the money management and you're not taking knockout blows by doing stupid things, by not being disciplined about your stops, letting stops do their job, as I was mentioning in the last video, if I'm stopped out, it's always first thing, stop just doing its job. Just doing its job, keeping me from doing something stupid. Right? Technical. So is it no reason to assume that this is going to to break down. Why would you assume that this pattern is going to break down? So we've had a perfect Elliott count, perfect pivot. Perfect Elliott count, perfect pivot. Right to the median line. So you trade them until they fail. Right? You see that? So 1, 2, where are we looking for the 4? Right? So we're going to take our perfectly technical 2. We're looking for the, it could be here, could 38, between 38 and the 50. We don't know. Here's the, but that looks a little shallow to me. So it looks like I'm going to have to go 1, 2, and this is going to be 1, 2, 3. Now I could potentially here have my impulsive structure that I need, because if this is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I need an impulse in here somewhere. Right? You'd prefer not to keep going 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Eventually, you want one of these to be realized, and now you know where you are, because once you have that impulse, well, now I can start to narrow down the alternates. Oh, I got my impulse. All right, so the 1 is solid, 2 is solid. Here's my impulse. I've got my 3. Now my 3 is solid. All right, so now I know where I am most likely in the count. Now, does that mean that you're going to get the 4 and the 5? Absolutely not. But it sets up the trade, which is that's all you get is the setup and the risk reward profile that you create based on okay, where am I wrong? Well, I'm wrong here, so if the stop takes me out, okay, next trade. Where's the next one? Yeah, a lot of preaching today for me. I didn't really start that way. I actually don't feel great today, but for whatever reason, there's a whole lot of information for me. So take it for what it's worth. I hope that adds some value. I hope you understand here. I encourage you, if you're beating your head against the wall in crypto, guys, well, you can take whatever crypto you've got and you can open an FX account with that crypto within minutes. And don't just dive in and go whole hog. Watch, study, learn. Trade small size. The beautiful thing about FX is you can trade micros or minis. You don't have to go in balls deep right off the bat. Take it easy. Get comfortable with it. Right? Get comfortable with the 24/7 or 24/5, I should say, nature of FX. Right? But depending on where you live, there's going to be a time zone where you're sleeping, where it's active. So keep that in mind. Now, one of the big benefits about FX is that rarely do you have to worry about your stop not getting filled, unlike crypto. And another benefit, just as easy to go long or short, right? You don't have to deal with the challenges you have to work with in crypto if you want to be short, right? I often tell you, going short in crypto is a giant pain in the ass. So, which is why I rarely do it. So why not just move over to FX, right? So here, God, it can't get any more technical than this. All right, guys. You want to learn how to do this? You want to really internalize so you're fluid with it? TradeDevils.com. There's a link underneath this video. All right, guys.